So for the first bracelet we're going to make, you need 2 to 3 colors of embroidery thread, each cut about 1 meter long. We're going to fold it in half and tie a knot at the top. So I'm going to go around and go through with my loop to create a loop at the end. This is so that it makes it easier to tie at the end. Now, using your painter's tape or another tape that your parent has told you you can use, go ahead and tape your string to the table. You can also tape them to your leg. If you have a safety pin, you can put it through the loop and attach it to your pants. There are lots of ways to do this, but you just want to make sure that you can pull on it and that it is secure. I have it taped on there, it's nice and secure. I'm going to pick one of my colors to start with. Separate it out. I'm going to put it across the main piece to form what kind of looks like a 4. And then I'm going to reach through my 4, under the strings, and pull through to make this knot. So if you're seeing it from my perspective, I make my 4, I reach through, I pull. Once again, I make my 4, I reach through, and I pull. I want to do that 10 times in a row. So that was 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, as you notice, it's going to start, my string is going to start spinning around it, so I might want to pull it under. 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I'm going to pick another color, another string that I haven't used, and do it again, 10 times. I keep going with different strings. I want to do all the strings that I haven't done before I start repeating on strings. So once you have it the length you want, you can, to finish, if you can and you want to, you can go ahead and braid 2 sets of strings. So they should be 3 each. If you only have 2, you could just do a twist. So you can go ahead and braid them. Now I can take my braids and tie them through the loops, the loop in my So now I can take the braids and tie them through the loop to complete my bracelet. I'd recommend doing this around someone else's wrist. So you can pull it through and tie. And now there's a bracelet on their wrist. So for this next bracelet, we are going to need to have 3 colors of string cut about 1.5 meters long to 2 meters long. We're going to fold it in half and tie our loop knot again. This is called the diagonal bracelet. I want to group my colors together. So I'm gonna do my yellow, both my yellows next to each other, then both of my reds, finally both of my purples. I'm gonna start with my leftmost string, and I'm gonna make my 4 with the string to the right of it. I'm gonna make my knot. I'm going to do this knot twice. I go 1, 2 times on the first string. And then I move on to the second string. I'm going to do it 1, 2 times on the second string. Move on to the third string. But my strings are a little tangled, so I'm just going to fix that. I'm doing this relatively loose. I'm going to go on to the third string. I'm going to go 1 knot, 2 knots, and I continue all the way across, doing 2 knots per string. Now I do the same thing with the next string. I'm going to go 1. Oh, that's not the next string. So I'm going to do the same thing with the next string. I'm going to start on the first string. Make 1, 2 knots, move on to the next, and continue all the way across. And now we can start to see the kind of diagonal forming. And I'm going to continue doing the same thing until it reaches the length that I want it at. Just once again, in case you've gotten a little lost, I'm taking my leftmost string, I'm knotting it twice. I'm using my number 4 knot twice on the string to the left of it. The first string to the right of it. And then I move on to the next string to the right. I make 2 number 4s on that string. And I continue all the way across, making 2 number 4 knots on each string. So as you continue, this is what your bracelet will start to look like. It's going to be made up of diagonal stripes of your colors. So for our final friendship bracelet, we're going to be making it in a V shape. And you're going to want to start it the same way you did our last one. So you want 1.5 to 2 meters of string. You want to fold it in half and tie it off and then tape it at the top. This time, however, we're going to start by putting one color all the way on the outside. Another color is going to be at the inside, and then the third color is going to be between the two. So start with one of my outsides. I am going to create my 4 with the string next to it. I'm going to reach through and grab the string. I'm going to make 2 knots, just like I did for my diagonal stitch. I'm going to do the same thing on the next string, 2 knots, just like the diagonal. So now I have a mini diagonal on that side. I'm going to stop when I hit the middle. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, only this time we're going to have to make a backwards 4 knot. So we always want the 4 to point to the outside of the bracelet. So this time my 4 is going to point out to the outside of my bracelet. I'm going to reach through, grab it, and pull it up. Once again, with my backwards 4. And now I do the same thing for the next one, still using my backwards 4. Now at the center, I want to make a square knot. So I go over and under with my left string, and I pull tight. Now you'll notice my left string is now on the right side, and I go over and under with it again. This time the right goes over the left, and I'm going to pull tight. I'm going to end up with a square knot there. Now I'm going to repeat the same thing with the next color. So I'm using the red string, and because I'm on the left side, I'm going to use a correct 4. So 1, 2, move on to the next one. And now I switch to my other side. And because I'm on the right side, I'm going to use my backwards 4. And then another backwards 4 stitch. And I move on to the next string with my backwards 4 stitch. And now I go left over right, pull, right over left, pull. You can see I have a V starting to take shape. I'm going to keep going, still using a forwards 4 on the left side and a backwards 4 on the right side until it reaches the length that I want. So now I have a V-shaped friendship bracelet. Once it's long enough, you can go ahead and connect it the same way we connected our first bracelet. Stay tuned for more fun activities with Roper Summer Day Camp.